Today, we're talking about debt. Debt. That big old word that everyone hates and probably everyone has a little bit. And I want to talk to you about this because I see this so much different than I've seen it before, right? Because there's a couple types of debt, right? There's what everyone thinks about it just financial debt, but there's also health, right? If you don't take care of your body, you're going to have to work out and eat healthy for a long time to fix all of your issues, right? So there's debt there. Next, there's debt with your kids. If you're a family man, or you say you're a family man, but you don't actually act like a family man. Like I sat down with this guy at a party recently. I don't want to name any names because he may see this video. And he was on his second family. Family number two. He had already acquired all this wealth, right? Spent all of those young years with his kids acquiring this wealth. Made a really great business, an esteemed businessman. But where did he pull that from? He pulled that from his family, pulled that from his kids. And so he acquired that debt. And he couldn't do anything about it, right? Because that relationship is beaten up. It's gone. It's hard to repair. And so he started over. He started another family. Got divorced. I got a new wife, more kids, and just started this process all over again. And so when we think about debt, it's just not financial. It's just not health. It's just not family. And then I also think about like self-debt, right? And self-debt's something that we don't really talk about at all, right? Because no one's like, well, everyone puts themselves last, right? Just, oh, they're self-sacrificing. And I disagree full-heartedly. In fact, the last, 2 years of my life have been the years that I've not taken Fridays off. I normally always take Fridays off. Just I look back at like reading MJ's DeMarco book. I think it was A Millionaire Fastlane, and provocative title, but really it's about what's trading time for time off, trading 5 days working for 2 days off. And I said, no, I'm going to trade 4 days working for 3 days off. I took every Friday off. And I did this for a period of 5 years. And I fully enjoyed it, right? Enjoyed all those times I had with my kids. Enjoyed times I had with myself. I'd find myself, driving 2.5 hours up to Mount Snow on a Friday, riding all day, driving back. And today, while I was doing my gratitude meditation, I became very aware and very grateful for that. And so I think there's a fourth kind of debt, self. And so one of these, right? One of these is going to add up, right? One of them. You're going to have to pull from one of them. Maybe that's an unconscious commitment that I've made to myself that said, hey, you've got to go in and you've got to pull from some part. You can't be 100% good on 100% of your, parts of life. You need to pull from somewhere. And so what I encourage you to do is look at your life. Give it a real good look. Take a step back and say, okay, if in the end I look back upon this life, where do I want the debt to come from? Is it going to come from my family? Is it going to come from my health? Regrettably, later on in life, you'll certainly regret that. Is it going to come from business / financial, right? And then later on in life, yeah, you're going to pay that back. Or are you? Right? And this is a weird video for me to even record because my ego, you know that thing called your ego? It's like inside your brain, and it says, "Oh, this is stupid. This is not something that you want to put out there. This is silly. No one's going to watch this. You're not going to get any views." But it's not about getting the views. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's about me kind of developing the muscle of being able to publish and speak on camera, getting this lighting stuff down. Because, fucking hey, dude, I thought having a black screen was a cool thing to have until I realized I looked like Casper. The not so friendly, or the friendly ghost, right? So for me, this is about just putting yet another video on my page for somebody to eventually watch. Whether it be my kids later on in life, my kids' kids, me. And so I'm going to actually, this is as bad as this one is, right? Because I did no script. I didn't really take down any notes. I'm kind of like shooting from the hip here. But my point of all this is that you get to see the ego in real time. Because I was fighting with ego today. I noticed that. And when I noticed that ego, that part of me, like that internal script, that internal track that says, I'm tired. That says, oh, just watch another YouTube short, right? That says, dude, don't post this. This is stupid, right? You feel all of this in here, even now in it. And what happens when you feel it? What happens? You feel in your chest. You're like, it feels nervous. It feels tightening. And that's the ego, right? And that's how you know you're making progress, is when the ego pops up and you feel that way. And so the point of my video is for you to see that ego in real time and for you to recognize that ego in your life, where it's not allowing you to be comfortable, where it's holding you back, and to recognize it. And I know I'm like looking back and forth from screen to screen here, and it's really probably like not a good video, and that's just another reason not to post it, right? But then you do. And what's the big deal? I've like 9 subscribers. No one's gonna see it. I'm just putting this out for me. Like, I did a video on abundance. And guess what? Nobody saw it. Not one view. But guess what happened to me? I violated a law. My own law. The own law that I spoke through. And then I needed to adhere to my own message. And that was the beauty. That was the best part of it. Because it's almost like, it is like as we put our message out, then we need to adhere to our own message. So you're seeing the ego play out in real time right now, as I was feeling this morning. I found myself scrolling, and that was the old will. That's not the new will. And I felt myself going right into a habit. I blamed on low sleep. But no, I slept good. I blamed it on, I just had a great day. It's like the momentum catching up to me. Right? It's me getting back into the struggle. Because at the end of the day, if you've been struggling, like everyone struggles, right? And if you've been struggling, guess what? And I mean this heart to heart. If you've been struggling, it's because you're addicted to the struggle. And somebody told me that. Told me, well, you identify as the fighter. And because you identify as the fighter, someone who's been through so much, someone who's been through, I had to do my brother's eulogy. Two and a half years ago. It's coming up, third year is coming up in December. So I know struggle, I know pain, I know grief all too well. And it feels familiar because it feels familiar, right? It's easy to stay in it, and it's easy to keep in that struggle. But as I said this, identify as a fighter. And he said, well, you identify as a fighter, but you should identify as the victor, because you've been through all these hard things over and over and over, and now you know what to do. He said, you identify as a victor, you know what to do. It's checkmate in 9 moves, and I just hit me like a truck. And I was like, wow. And after shifting that identity in my mind as the victor, as this beautiful life that we get to live, we have to, right? So there's choices. I know those choices all too well. The beautiful life that you get to live, with its peaks and valleys, with its lessons and its teachings. That present moment, that is the destination. It's not up here. We can't say, I'm going to be happy when I get up here. I'm going to spend time with my kids when I make enough money. I'm going to take care of my health when my bank account looks better. I'm going to, that's like a when-then fallacy. Alex Hormozi talks about this. These beautiful, beautiful things that he talks about. He talks about the when-then fallacy. And it's just a fallacy. It's just in our mind. And so, this is a video about my message coming out, right? The ego is there. It's trying to keep you in the struggle. Recognize it. Observe it. Because as it distracts you, as it pulls you down, as it gives you those nervous thoughts, not to do this, not to get uncomfortable, not to do that, it's there to keep you in the struggle, because you're addicted to the struggle, because you identify as someone who needs to struggle. So take 5 minutes, take 10 minutes. I find if I go into nature, my mind just clears, right? They say that, I don't have the Bible verse off the top of my head. I'm a little new to God and to the spiritual realm after being a diehard atheist for 20 years. But I read something that God is within all. So if you go into nature, your mind can clear. You can just think about your life. Where's that ego coming up? And then where am I pulling debt from, right? Because ideally you don't pull it anywhere, but if you have to pull it, where do you pull it? I hope this helps. I'm going to post this bad boy up before my ego says, you're going to have to redo that whole damn video. I'm glad y'all have seen it firsthand. Good luck.